You look at this Knicks team last night getting pasted by the Warriors without those guys there. The depth pieces aren't good enough. The guys they acquired at the deadline, not good enough. The expectation and hope was maybe that this team can compete for a championship. I do not believe that is going to be the case. The damage already for this Knicks team, in my mind, has been done.
It's almost like you read my mind because, they'll be fine. I'm not that. Here's the thing. Are there concerns about this team? Of course. Did I get hung up on losing to Golden State? No, I did not. And I understand where they are right now. And you mentioned the depth pieces. Right now, they're not the depth pieces. They're full front and center. And yes, they're not good enough for that. We saw that Anunoby trade, and instantly, right? He came there the day of. They beat Minnesota and go on this incredible run, and it solidified every piece of the team and changed who they were. This trade of Burks and Bogdanovich has not done that. There were two elements of that trade. The help and reserves to help with the injuries currently to help keep this team above water, that has failed. You watch Burks has struggled. Bogdanovich trying to get
Burks
used.
Stinks, dude. I mean, people tell me about, Burks coming back. Right. He's horrible. I didn't want him, period.
He is. I mean, he's not. I still look for that trade was made to get a second leader of that offense, someone who can get his own shot, and I'm still feeling like that's a need for this team.
Right.
They have not accomplished it. Bogdanovich is playing lesser minutes. I think they're trying to get him used to the idea he's going to be a role player when the injuries come back, and that's the point. Because as I just said, there were two elements to those trade. Helping keep the Knicks above water and then solidifying the team when the injuries come back. One, I agree with you, hasn't really helped. And I'm concerned about this team heading and keeping above float. But the fact of the matter is these bench pieces, when the injuries come back, I still have faith they can fit into place. I still have faith in Thibodeau to get this team coached up and to have those pieces fit in. You're dealing with Hartenstein's injury. He doesn't look the same now.
But that's a problem, too.
Right.
It's part of why I say the damage has been done. Everybody's thinking like the perfect world. It was the perfect world pre-injuries. Then Randle goes down with a significant injury. Hartenstein goes down. He was a big piece of this. Sure. Obviously, Anunoby was a huge piece. And those guys will come back at some point. Hartenstein obviously already back with limited minutes. Maybe they get Mitch back as well. But it's not going to be the same. Once like something goes wrong in a relationship, the damage is done.
No, but you're looking for the perfect world. There was never going to be a perfect world with this team with these injuries. And ultimately, when they get to full strength, I still think they can revert back to that team that was the best team in the NBA for the month of January. I still think they can get there. So in the meantime, is there a concern that they continue to move down the rankings in the standings? For me, on some level, not so much, because even if they do fall out into the play-in tournament, if at full strength this team can't win one or two games to get themselves in the playoffs, then they weren't as good as we thought they were anyway.
But think about what we were talking about. We were at its apex after Anunoby to win in whatever it was, 13 to 15, whatever the streak exactly was. Mm-hmm. And they're starting to climb up the standings in the Eastern Conference. I remember saying there is no ceiling for this team. They can win it all if things break right. And guess what? It didn't break right immediately. And now they're starting to sink back down a little bit, obviously because of the Sixers with Embiid have their own issues. They've been sinking as well. Yeah, but the other teams have caught up. Orlando, Philadelphia, Indiana, Miami, they're all within a game and a half right there. So they could go from 4 to 6. They're not going any higher than they are right now. And they're probably going to go lower, which then leads a bad matchup in the first round. I think they're closer to the first round and out than they are to the Eastern Conference Finals.
Well, listen, but you were going to have to beat those teams anyway. I don't get, because we talk about it in the NBA. Sometimes I think we get narrow-minded in, can this move help them win a championship? Does this make them a championship contender? I think there is some value in just being better and going through. But ultimately, if we do view it under the guise of some level, is it good enough to win a championship? If you can't beat them in the first round, and so we get a couple more Knick games? Are we placating the Knick fan?
Right.
It's about when they become who they can be, which is still in sight. Anunoby's cleared to shoot. Hopefully he's coming back soon. We haven't heard anything really on Randle, but it's a non-shooting shoulder injury. He's going to have to play through pain. I don't think there's any...
Steph
can do it.
Steph Bondy, the Post, had a good article with quotes from Channing Frye, who had the same injury, talking about how difficult it could be to come back from that. And Randle's got to deal with the pain, and he will. Randle wants to come back. He's a tough guy. I get that.
Absolutely.
And it is his non-shooting shoulder. However, he plays a more physical game than Channing Frye did. That's going to take a toll on him. One of the things I love about Randle, and one of the things that's missing, and you touched on this, Guys right now that can get to the bucket, that can create their own shot, that can score. They don't have it.
They don't have any.
DiVincenzo's not it. I fight with BT about this all the time. DiVincenzo's not it. You see that. He's a volume guy, and on nights where it's going in, okay, great. Too inconsistent. Burke stinks. Bogdanovich, a spot-up shooter, and even he inconsistent a little bit here. We'll see how, obviously, he gets acclimated to New York when everybody gets back, but they cannot win without Randle being his best. And even if and when Randle comes back, I don't believe he's going to be at his best.
See, but I think you have to believe he will. And what you're painting is the exact reason. We can talk about who's superstars and whether the Knicks have them or don't. No matter what the case may be, when they get into the playoffs, they're not going to have the best group of superstars. We know that. How they're going to win is with their depth. And their depth pieces, you're right, they can't create their own shots. They're not good enough to be in the starting five and relied on as much as they are right now to go win basketball games. But what can they be? They can be those depth pieces you need along with your superstars and your best players. They still have a depth with these players that is better than almost any team in the East as far as depth goes. That's how they were going to win this anyway. Those pieces are still there. Yeah, they're not good enough to step up. And DiVincenzo can't be one of the main offensive scorers for you over the course of a month.
You see it. They're using Brunson for 45 minutes a night or whatever it may be.
And you can't do that. And if he's got a stiff neck, sit a day, sit 2 days. Right. I'd rather have them. This is a game of longevity, man. This is a marathon, not a sprint. This has become a baseball season. I don't care so much about the games right in front of my face as I do of making sure that DiVincenzo, who they're going to need to be rested and not run into the ground, because, hopefully his volume goes down when they need it to go down, but he needs to be effective and efficient. I need that guy not, doing everything he can, fighting 40 minutes a game just to keep them above float against games against Orlando or whomever.
But don't you think you're living, and not you specifically, but maybe in this case you specifically, but don't you think Knicks fans are living in la-la land when they're, okay, well, we'll get everybody back. The reality is what it is right now.
Right.
Randle had a significant injury. Anunoby had an injury. Okay, he's cleared to shoot. He's still not cleared for contact. Mitch Robinson's still out. He may come back fine. Hartenstein limited because of that Achilles. That is the reality. The hope that Knicks fans have is different from what it was before that stuff, because it wasn't just hope, it was reality. The reality was the Knicks were playing like the best team in the NBA.
I understand it, but let me ask you a question here. Let me change the tables a little bit on you. If the Knicks were winning these games, what would the reality be?
I still don't think it would be good enough, because they just beat the Pistons.
I understand
and they shouldn't have won that game. And
I know, amazing. That was really the story of that game. Forget the foul call. They pulled out a squeaker against the Pistons. Would have been a disaster.
But it's not the record for me.
Right. So that's what I'm saying. So when I watch this game, and this is the reaction, if they were winning these games, the reaction would be tempered because they're winning, they're plugging away, they're keeping the heads above water. They would still need all the ifs, ands, or buts you're talking about to come through if they were going to win anyway. So I'm watching this. We knew it. Those guys went down. Even if Burks and Bogdanovich were playing better, even if DiVincenzo still had his legs about him and was shooting better than what he's been the last 2 games, even if Hartenstein wasn't dealing with this injury and played a better brand of basketball and got more than 6 rebounds when he was averaging 12 and 18 when he was playing back during the January stretch. Even if all those things were happening, we'd still be talking about, well, what really are they if Randle doesn't come back? What can they do without Anunoby? So those questions have to be answered in the affirmative, but they're no different today than when the injuries first happened.
But if the injuries didn't happen, it would be a different story. And that is my point. Everybody is ignoring the reality. The injuries did happen, and it is going to take a toll. It already has to a certain extent on the team. The results may not matter because you want to get in the postseason. They're going to start to sink. And then that's going to lead to a less favorable matchup in the first round, which ruins the season. Now, I want to be clear. I still believe in the Knicks long term.
Right.
I think that they're going to be next year a championship team. This is not, the Knicks stink and they've always stunk for 20 years. And Leon, this is not that. It's not that, they don't have the guys, the horses that could get it done. It's just that sometimes in the course of a season, things don't go your way. For the Knicks to be a legit championship team this year, or maybe even less, an Eastern Conference team, an Eastern Conference Finals team this year, they needed everything to go right. The damage has already been done. It hasn't gone right.
I disagree. There's been damage done, but it's not too late. And they built themselves a cushion in that month of January. That's why if they were the 7th seed when this happened, you could be, out of luck. But what they did was when they first made that Anunoby trade and built up that 16 out of 19 and put themselves in the 3 seed at one point, right, and the 4 seed, they've built up a cushion to allow themselves to have this kind of stretch. You knew a stretch like this was coming. You don't win 16 out of 19, lose 2 of your 3 best players, and then expect it just to continue. You knew they were going to go through this lull. The fact of the matter is they need certain guys who've come here, particularly the trade of Burks and Bogdanovich. They need to play a better brand of basketball. They need to figure out a way to stem the tide, because I still believe the damage has not been done. And then when you get these guys back, you are going to see a team just like you did throughout the course of January, who's as dangerous and deep as any team in the Eastern Conference. And if I have to beat the Celtics at the beginning of the playoffs, or if I have to beat Milwaukee at the beginning of the playoffs, instead of having a nice, comfortable series and walking through the first round, then that's when I have to beat them. But that doesn't change who they are and how much I feel they actually have a chance in those series.
BT and Sal on the Fan. C-Mac, Chris McMonigle from the Overnights filling in for BT today as BT is off. Our friends at Town Fair Tire remind you that at Town Fair Tire, you always get the guaranteed lowest price on name brand tires from Connecticut to Maine. Nobody beats Town Fair Tire. Nobody. Maury is in Belmore. What's up, Maury?
What's up? This is a great combo. Today is your day. Today's your day, bro.
Today's your day, bro.
Listen, Sal, the sky is not falling. What we're doing is we're building these guys their legs, because they're going to be on the bench when all these guys come back healthy. You need to believe we've been overachieving. Calm down.
How are they overachieving? They've lost. They were 4-8 in February.
They were overachieving in January. Come on.
No, they were good before the injuries. Yeah. They were good, Maury.
They were the best team in the NBA for the whole month.
Well, okay, so it's not overachieving. They were very good. They were legitimately good. Nope. Guys got hurt. You can't ignore it.
You gotta believe. Come on.
No, I don't gotta believe. I gotta live in reality. You gotta believe.
The reality is they are coming back, Sal. Like no one thinks that they're not coming back.
Well, we don't know that.
Well, yeah, we do.
Until they're back, we don't know. Hartenstein's back, too. He's been on limited minutes.
That's true. He's dealing with an injury.
Sal, did we give up when the Germans bombed Pearl Harbor? Did we?
I don't remember.
I didn't pay
attention to history.
It's a line from Animal House.
Yeah, I know. I remember that, too.
All right, pal.
Yeah, thank you, Maury. We appreciate it.
Thank you, Maury.
I mean, I remember the line in the Animal House, but I don't remember
It's okay.
I didn't pay attention in history class. Should I know that one?
What happened with when the Germans bombed Pearl Harbor? Yeah, the Germans didn't do that. That's the first problem.
Okay. Oh,
okay. That's what makes it
funny.
Yeah,
I never paid it. I just know the quote, and they used to do that. They used to play it, I think, at Shea.
Oh, the Belushi line?
Yeah, right. And show him going nuts.
Well, I just know it because the great Bob Usler used to quote that movie on a nightly basis. After he would, pummel me for 20 minutes about being a Yankee fan, then he would throw a little Animal House at me.
He made me watch that too back in the day. It was like part of my initiation here as an intern. Him and Ack made me watch all those movies. Here's the reality, though. You can think that Randle is coming back, Anunoby's coming back, and I understand why you want to hope and think that. There is no guarantee that they are. The guarantee right now is that they're out. They are out. I hope more than anybody that they all come back and are healthy and everything's fine. It's just not real. It's not realistic.
I guess. But then the damage was done the minute they went out.
That's what I'm saying. That's exactly my point.
I mean, but listen, they're going to have to.
Taking you 15 minutes to figure it out.
Well, we danced around it, I suppose.
Right.
Yeah, but no, But we still expect these guys back. Anunoby's just been cleared. Hopefully, we're getting some positive news on his return. Randle, Randle's coming back. When he's coming back, I don't know. They're going to have to stem the tide till then. I get it.
But
watching the team, I never thought they would be a good basketball team without them.
If Randle is not what he was pre-injury, do you think this Knicks team could do?
No.
Okay.
They need him. That's true. Listen, so the damage has been done with an injury. You need him to come back and be every bit as he was to win a championship, no doubt. But until I see that, I can't give up on what was the most fun, best time of basketball played in the Garden, going back to my beginnings of my fandom in the mid-'90s.
Right.
So, I'm not going to give up on that because those guys aren't here right now. And until I know they're either not coming back or they do come back and show to be less effective than they were, I still think that team can get back to what they've been.
Richie's in Queens. What's up, Richie?
Hey, boys. How are you?
How are you?
I'm doing bud. Well, bud. How are you?
Good. C-Mac, it's good talking to you. I've not talked to you since you got the overnight.
Well, why not? Where you been?
Well, because I'm 76, C-Mac, and I don't really get up at 3 in the morning.
Not even to go to the bathroom occasionally? Come on.
Yeah, I do, but then my wife says to me I'm on the phone enough. I can't be on the phone at 3 in the morning.
All right.
But
I bring the wife into it.
Yeah, you've done good. Now,
thank you,
Sal. I got to tell you, Sal, you and BT, man. Initially, I was banging my head against the wall. I love listening to you guys now. I really do.
Thank you.
I just think the up and downs have been great. Yeah, with the Knicks, I'm kind of siding with C-Mac. I do see your point, Sal. It's been kind of a disaster. I took my mom to 98 years old, C-Mac, to her 98th on her birthday.
God
they
bless
had a
her.
big thing at the game. I mentioned that to Sal a while ago. But since that game, the Miami game, this is when it all started. Obviously, the injury to Randle, Adonabi. But your point is well taken, C-Mac, and that is if they do fall to the play-in game, and it's only 2 games, swings, it could happen. Because and if they don't get Randle back and Adonabi back, then, the game's over at this point. They got to be full squad for them to move on. But in your case, what you said about if they have to play a play-in game and they have to go that route and they are back together at the end of the year, well, and they don't get in there, then maybe they weren't as good as we thought.
Right.
So I am very devastated about what's going on. 60-year fan. I thought this was really one of the best we've seen in many, many years.
It was. It was.
I don't think there's any doubt it was.
Yeah, it's mind-boggling what's happened with these injuries. But, I think Tibbs is keeping them. Like Brunson's a great leader. They're saying all the right things. I don't know what's going to happen in 2 or 3 weeks if they come back. But, yes, they do have to come back. And if they are healthy, they can make a run even in the playoff game. Pleasure, guys.
Oh, thank you for the call.
Yeah, I mean, they absolutely need to come back. And to Sal's point, this is where we disagree. I don't think you can see the damage being done. I mean, I just don't think you can be there just yet. You have to see if they can come back, because if they do, they are good enough. And, yeah, again, the standings, would it be great to get to a point where you're at the top of the standings and have a series you feel you can get through and get that, past and get that under your belt?
Have a more favorable matchup.
Have a more favorable
in the first round.
Yeah, in the first round. I get that. But ultimately, if we think they're good enough, they're going to have to do that. And you mentioned something about Brunson being a leader. I think that's the other question here. We all like to call him a superstar. We say he's a superstar, me included. He's a superstar. He's everything the Knicks wanted him to be. He's better than anyone could have imagined. He's a leader. He's this. He's changed the Garden. He's changed the Knicks. He's got to be in there on a nightly basis, and he's got to figure out a way to keep this team above water. He can't let this team fade into oblivion if he's going to be the superstar we all think he's going to be.
Yeah, to me, he's not fading into oblivion. There's just only so much he could do. Now,
are there other superstars who would allow their team to fade?
I was going to say, if that means that he's not that level superstar, I don't know. But you watch this team, and even going back to the Lakers game a few weeks back, or however long that was, you see Brunson doing everything. Last night, doing all that he possibly could. It's just not enough. Nope. They have nothing else around him right now. And it's also the structure of the team. Like, you need somebody who could score the basketball in a different way other than just being a spot-up shooter. And they don't have it. DiVincenzo was not it. But I'm not knocking Brunson on that. We'll have more on Brunson coming up on the other side. C-Mac in for BT today. BT and Sal on the fan. We'll continue with your calls coming up. We'll get in some baseball a little bit later on as well. Some Mets, some Yankees ahead of another weekend of spring training here as we get closer and closer to opening day, as it is the 1st of March. How about that? We've gotten to March. February, the worst month of the year, certainly sports-wise. We're in March. We got opening day coming up this month for both the Mets and Yankees, so we'll do plenty on baseball as well. It's BT and Sal with C-Mac in for BT on the fan.